Right, okay, so I have here a Union R7 on the international firmware, and this is the new hardware version, so this has got the R7 International 149 installed.
Expert menu.
And a bit loud.
Exit. Expert.
So I was just going to go through the menu and explain what's on the menu. So you've got highway, city advanced as normal, rear balance options as normal, GPS on off, that's as normal. GPS alerts, you get a new menu setting, so get urban speed, speed camera range. I've got it set to kilometres now, which is why it's in meters at the moment. The auto range is based on your GPS speed, so the faster you go, the longer your range. That's different to how it works on the US firmware. I think the US firmware uses the camera speed range to determine the range rather than your actual speed, which is more useful, I find anyway. Rural speed cameras, red light cameras, red speed, so you've got combined red speed, red light and speed camera. Section control, so that's point-to-point cameras, average speed cameras, those type where you've got essentially a range or a stretch of road that is covered by multiple cameras. So it monitors your speed when you pass the section control start, and then warns you if you go over the speed. Laser POI, so it's got laser, if there's areas where lasers frequently used, we can set those in the GPS database as a warning as well. Bus lane cameras, so for Auckland in New Zealand for instance, we have enforceable bus lanes, so we need those. POI Mutes are for reducing GPS false alerts, so if you run a parallel road to a road with a speed camera, on the parallel road you won't get the speed camera alert, whereas on the main road you will, so that's what the POI allows you to do. Pass chimes, so when you pass the GPS location you get a chime to tell you you've passed the location. So auto city mode, so we now have auto city mode on the R7, and this works. I'm going to talk a little bit about this because this is one of the main things that's different, and it's also different to how it's implemented on the R4 and the R8. So auto city allows you to run auto city and highway or auto city and advanced. So you just set the main settings on here as you would normally. So if you choose advanced, it will automatically switch into advanced mode when I go over 50 kilometers an hour, and when I go a little bit below 50 kilometers an hour it'll change back to city mode. So obviously if I run that in highway mode it'll do the same thing, but with highway instead of advanced. Focus on, okay, frequency, expand. Most of these are all the same as usual. Now you get K blocks. Instead of just having K block 1, K block 2, we have a submenu, so we have lots of different K blocks. These can be set on, off, mute or weak. So we've got different frequencies displayed for the different K blocks. So there's 5 K blocks preset on here, and we get custom K block as well, and we also have the option to show and hide K blocks, which is for the weak signals. So if they're weak it doesn't display them, it'll just hide them. If I have hide K blocks set, then it'll just hide them, so if you're running dark mode you don't get the display for a K block, a weak one anyway. Let's see. So we've got K wide, K narrow, K narrow NZ preset, and K limits. So K narrow is 24 23970 to 24.100.
K limits.
And if I choose K limits, then I get the K limits option where I can set my limits. So it's a bit like all the KA segments. So I've got
KA segmentation.
I've got KA segmentation set, but with K limits set, I now get K limits, which allows me to choose my limits. And KA segmentation as normal, KA priority, mute now, all those things, pretty much normal. The tones as normal, K mute. Quite right. I think that's pretty much everything else. Also power off. You've got manual power off, which means it'll only turn off when you turn it off. Or it's got auto power off, which means it will turn itself off if you're parked somewhere and nothing happens. So if there's no radar alert and you're not moving on GPS, it will automatically power you off after about 1 hour. And it doesn't need a GPS signal to do that, so even if you're parked in a basement where there's no GPS, it will still auto power off.
Expert.
So at the moment I've got advanced set and also city at 50 kilometers an hour. So you can see now it's running in city mode, and it tells you which mode is active at the moment. So currently city mode. If I turn it off, turn it back on, it's going to go through the anti-theft, set that up, and then
GPS connected.
briefly you saw it said advanced. So it said advanced and then it got GPS connected, realised it was not moving, and then put it into city mode. So again you can see what it's doing. Okay, I think that's about everything I want to show on that one.